This is kind of weird, but
Dude, I have a good one.
I have a lot of good ones.
Confidence versus ego, dude.
Okay. We can definitely touch on that topic. I'm into it.
Because I've been like kind of thinking about it a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's like this constant like.
It's like, how do you find that fucking fine line?
There's
dude?
duality, baby.
Hey.
Bruh,
Freestyle it, dude. Yeah.
I'm not in that headspace, but
No.
maybe next time I'll meditate on it, you know? I dug your like intro last time.
I
Just
wanted to keep
harmonizing.
going.
That was sick. And then Eric was like, stop. And I was like, dude. Damn, bruh. You practice that or what?
Nah. All right, ready?
Yerp it in.
Yer.
There he is.
Hey.
There he
What's
is.
up, dude? Yeah, dude. We're live. Was it Bill O'Reilly that said, or was it who was it that was like, fuck it, we'll do it live?
I think that was him.
Bill O'Reilly. Just getting on a sick one.
We should like, eventually we should get like a soundboard.
Dude, I would
That
like
would be
that.
kind of cool.
Just play
We gotta
sound
like,
effects.
we gotta like get with the 21st century, you know? And that's like, all podcasts now have soundboards.
It's true. It's true.
Plus
like,
it would be kind of funny
yeah.
to like do callbacks on shit.
I just touched down in the end zone. That's
Like-
all I really wanted for was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
that
yeah.
boom. I just touched. That's it, dude.
That
So
needs
what's
to
up,
happen.
dude? What's up, Jesse? It's just us, by the way, man. Eric, unfortunately, got stuck in the desert. So it's just Jesse and I.
Yeah, Eric's
doing
stuck
the
on the
podcast
side of the road in the desert.
somewhere.
His car is broke down and he's just on a vision quest right now. So I'm praying for him.
We all are. So yeah, so it's just Jesse and I today. But what's good, dude? What's good with you?
Life's good, bro. Work's been good to me this past week. You know, I feel like this new yoga meditation thing I've been doing, I kind of stepped it up during the Rona.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing a little bit in the morning, and then when I get home from work, I'm doing like an hour almost, like half an hour to an hour of just like stretching and breathing. And I feel a lot better like overall throughout the day.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like one of those things where like when I first started doing it, I didn't see the benefits necessarily, you know, but like after doing it like for days and weeks, I just feel really good. So like even at work, I feel confident and like handling things differently than I would normally, you know, instead of like getting all like, you know, freaked out and like, oh man, how am I going to do all this stuff? Like I've just been very like peaceful and just handling things as they come. So overall, this was a good week. I feel good. Coming in here feeling good, you know, excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, man, it's funny, dude, because there's like this feeling of like, yo, this cheesy shit, dude. What am I gonna do? Fucking yoga and meditate, dude?
I know,
what
right?
The fuck is that, dude? Like, yo, fuck.
Did you
fuck
see
yoga
my
and
thing on
meditating.
Insta?
No, what was it? I've been okay.
I got some like mixed reviews, but it was me like laying back and like had my legs over my head, like touching the ground behind me.
Sick.
And I was kind of stoked on that because it took me a while to do that.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And everyone
My
was like,
fucking
"What
big
the
ass,
hell, dude?"
My big ass gut wouldn't let me do that shit, dude.
I'm actually like really trying to suck my own dick, but
Yeah, well,
It's-
we all, it's a fantasy of every
yeah,
dude. Like, if
I don't
we
think
all
it's
could,
gonna
we would.
happen. Like I don't think this rib area is letting me do that, but I'm gonna try. Your boy is gonna try.
It means you gotta
at least.
means you gotta grow your dick, dude.
yeah. I might follow one of those ads on like, you know, those different
how to
sites
grow-
like, oh
how
yeah,
to
get
grow
like
8
4 or
inches
6 inches or whatever.
Overnight, dude.
Let's go, dude.
I could use some of that.
Yo,
But,
big podcast, bro.
Yeah, man, it's funny, dude. It's like you hear all the time, dude. It's like pray, meditate, do yoga, like all this shit, and you're like, yo, that's just cheesy as fuck, dude. And then it works.
Yeah.
You know, like
And you're like, ah, I
you
guess
start
I'm
doing it,
a
and
cheeseball.
because like I mean, yo, like I've shared around here plenty of times. Like I started my meditation practice too, and like been like now like up to about a half hour a day, and it pays off. And like because like while I'm sitting there, at least for like me, like what I found is that it's not necessarily like I'm gonna sit in this like fucking levitated state in this fucking like stoic Buddhist Zen motherfucker who's like levitating all the time. Like, I don't think that's like, I don't even think that's so much more of like the goal. Because to me, the goal has been like accepting that, like, yo, I'm gonna feel anxious, depressed, I'm gonna have like struggles, I'm gonna have all of these things and be okay in that space. Not like, I don't even feel this, dude. I got a force field around
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
dude. You know? So like, because I think that's a very common misconception with people that like we don't think we're supposed to feel this way. And like we feel guilty or bad because we feel this way of like, I feel anxious, dude. Like, what am I doing wrong?
Mm.
I think I'm not doing something right. I shouldn't be feeling anxious. I shouldn't be feeling depressed. But like the truth is, it's like that's just human nature. Like, we're gonna get worried, we're gonna have issues, we're gonna be depressed and feel anxious. That's just part of the normal human experience. So I think like there's a bit of a misconception, at least that I had also, that like,
I
oh,
think
I
many
shouldn't be
people have
feeling
that.
this way. Yeah. And like, well, the reality is like I'm gonna feel this way. It's like, so I need to be okay in that space and then, you know, redirect or move forward in a different way rather than just like beating myself for feeling anxious. Like, why am I beating myself for a normal human emotion?
Yeah, I think for me, the idea of it is what I need to do to meditate and for myself is literally just like disconnect from all the extra shit, you know, like put the phone away, like, and just be present with myself, you know, and whatever the hell comes up in my mind, all the thoughts, racing thoughts, anxiety, whatever it is, just not shy away from it,
Yeah.
you know, just sit there and breathe and like breathe through it, experience it. That's what meditation is, you know. At least for me, that's what it is. Um, and like I said, like the results aren't immediate, you know. Like it took a while, and even the results I'm seeing are very small results, but they're like
But now they're
life
tangible.
changing. Yeah,
Yeah, they're tangible
it's
now.
like tangible stuff. And when these things come up throughout my day, whatever it is, anxiety, you know, fear, or happiness or whatever, I can like feel it and just experience it and not like try to run from it necessarily.
Yeah, dude. Because I think I don't remember who said this quote, but like the biggest problem that humans have is thinking that we shouldn't have problems. And then the first time I heard that, I was like, oh fuck. Because like that's the goal, right? I don't want to have any issues. I don't ever want to
Yeah, I
feel
just want to be
anxious or
happy all
worried.
the
I just want to
time,
be
you know,
happy all the
like,
time. But yo, you can't be happy all the time. It's gonna come back down. But like, so I was kind of thinking like something you touched back earlier, like with work. You said like you were having more confidence, and I was like thinking about this week, dude. Like, I shouldn't be tapping on the table. You can hear that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But like something in like my meditation time and my prayer time and in this space for myself, it's like as you bring up confidence, it's to me, I have such a hard time almost not so much conceptualizing it, but like finding this balance of like confidence and ego.
Mm.
Like, yo, how do I like, ooh, how do I get in between right in that sweet spot? Because to me, like, it's a fine line. I want to be confident, and I want to be confident and like believe in myself and or be that type of person. And then there's this weird part of me that is afraid of being egotistical because I want to stay right sized.
Mm.
Right. And with some of the stuff that we do, you know, we're very cautious of that. And like for myself, out of fear, out of like wanting to appear, I wanted to appear as something that I wasn't, like, because I was afraid of not being accepted, of fear of being rejected, which I know they're kind of the same thing. It's a little redundant, but they do kind of, it is a little bit separate. I wanted to appear like the number one guy because like I was afraid of like not being that guy. So I wanted to be dominant, and I was dominant, right? In a sense of like, I can make fun of you, or I can make you feel shitty about yourself, this, or all, have to be the guy who's right, number one, all the goddamn time. So being dominant, being like out in the forefront, star of the show type of person, like all attention on me, so that because if the attention's not on me, then I'm doing something wrong. People don't like me. So like now I want to be in this space of confidence, confident with myself and comfortable with myself, but I don't want to be, I don't want to be egotistical or arrogant or seem like an asshole. So it's such a fine line, dude.
Yeah.
It's like like finding that space is so hard because I have now it's funny because the fear is reversed. Now I have a fear of appearing dominant. Now I have a fear of being too assertive. I have a fear of trampling over people's feelings. And I have a fear of like this awareness that I didn't have before because I don't want to make people feel that way anymore. So like
It's weird, dude. It's
right?
weird. There's so many things like that there's that like fine line or like the duality or like being one or being both at the same time. I think my conception of confidence without being egotistical has to wrap in like humility at the same time. Like
Yeah.
having confidence, but also being humble at the same time. You know, like having having an idea that I am capable of accomplishing this task or handling this situation properly, but also not taking it to the extreme of like, but I know better than everyone else, and like my way is it's my way or the highway kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like knowing that I'm capable and able to do what I set out to do, but also being humble enough to realize that like there might be a better way as well.
I reserve the right to be wrong.
Yeah.
Is what I tell myself. And I had to learn. First I had to tell myself that, then I had to learn that. But being okay with being wrong. Because like wrong holds stigmas to it, right? Wrong means I failed, I didn't do something right. I came up short. I wasn't good enough. And dude, it's weird now. Like I'm still working on it. And all of these things, like I'm not saying like I'm fucking.
Yeah, we have it all figured out.
Yeah, I'm not definitely nowhere
we're
serious saying like I got this shit figured out. What I'm saying, like when I bring up these things, it's because like they're things that I'm working on and I wish I was better at. And when you bring up humility, like it's hard for me to even want to talk about humility because like I can't be like, yo, I'm humble as fuck, dude. You know,
well, when
like,
you say you're humble as fuck,
I know you're obviously not humble.
Person.
So it's like one of those things where it's like, if I don't look back on it, then it's not there. Like I just got to keep fucking moving forward. I got to like, yo, like work on humility, but I can't like look back and be like, yo, am I being humble enough? Cause then like, am I being humble enough? You know? Like,
yeah, I think
it's this weird thing. Right?
I think once I bring that thought into my like awareness is like, am I being humble enough? I already know my answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's no.
Like it's for me, it's something that it's a way of being, you know, and it takes so much practice, man. Like I fluctuate throughout each day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can literally be in a state of humility and then immediately like be in judgment of somebody else. And it's just like within like 3 seconds. You know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah, I mean,
it's so crazy.
All right. So last week I went on a sick one. And I was like, dude. I went on a sick one about like, yo, people sharing, being experts on. I stood up and I went on a sick rant, and like, it wasn't my proudest moment for there. And I was like thinking back on that a few days later, and I'm like, yo, I was like, dude, that was probably not the best thing ever.
That was really good entertainment, though.
Yeah.
Like I was really fucking digging it.
I know. And look, there might have been some truth to it, right?
Yeah.
There might have been. There might not have been. But like, because that's the thing, like I work on. I'm like, yo, my judgment of other people, because I could be a hater, dude. I could be a fucking hater. Like, yo, don't, talk on your phone on speaker in public. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, if your sound system's rattling my house, like, why? When your dope Civic going down the street has a coffee can muffler that goes, like, why? Like, you drive that car to work that's the car you show up in people's lives, is like beat down 1997 Civic with like hubcaps that look like rims. Remember Spinners, by the way? Do you remember Spinners?
Yeah. We called them Spreewells back in the day.
Spreewells?
Yeah, I don't know if that
we
was
called them
East Coast
Spinners. Yeah, so anyway, so like these things come up in my head every day. I'm like, it's like I'm always looking for like, not always, but I'm like, looking for a thing to like hate on and be like, yo, dude, like just be regular. Like we say that shit all the time. Like just be regular,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
right?
I love that fucking
And
saying.
like I honestly like don't want to be like I do want to be like, but then here's the other thing. Annoying shit is allowed to be annoying.
Yeah, and also there's you can take a comedic like perspective on it. Like that something that I like to do for myself is when I am experiencing this judgment, I like to laugh at myself and like make something funny out of it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like,
And that's like typically
and that's
what I
kind of
like
what
to do.
comedians do, right?
Yeah.
It's like you find something that's like annoying or like ridiculous, and then you make fun of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like that's what it ends up becoming is like I'm trying to make a joke out of it. And like, yeah, I try to, make a joke out of it, but it was low key annoying. But like, and the other thing too is like back to this, like, how people feel like they shouldn't feel anxious or depressed or whatever. Like the other thing too is like I just said, like annoying shit is like annoying shit can be annoying. And like, I can get angry. I can get sad about stuff. I can feel like these emotions that like are so stigmatized to be negative that we feel like we shouldn't be feeling. But like, yo, I can feel that. So one thing that happened to me is like why all of this came up for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I live in Sherman Heights, which is not far from where we record right here. And I live on a busy street. It's a main street and there's a lot of people that walk by. And we have, you've seen my house. It has a little gate, right? Little iron gate with a wall, whatever. And then I have a front porch. And because of the Corona stuff, we've been leaving our shoes outside. And I've been leaving my shoes outside like overnight, just leaving there, whatever. And so I'm talking on the phone with somebody, or I was on a meeting actually. And there's this like homeless vagrant who like yells himself. He's obviously mentally ill. And I've seen him pass by a bunch of times. This one time a few days ago, he passes by the street in this like dope ass pair of red New Balances. And I'm like, oh shit, those shoes are fucking sick. They look an awfully lot like the ones I have.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, yo, let me go check my closet. And I'm like, this motherfucker stole my shoes.
Wow.
And I got hella upset. I got really annoyed. I was feeling bad that I was feeling annoyed and upset. And then I was like, whoa, wait a second. I was like, yo, that shit is annoying. And that shit is upsetting. This fool straight up came into my front yard and on my porch and then fucking snagged a pair of my sneakers, dude. And then like, so now I got to deal with like all of this.
Drop somebody.
Yeah. So like, yeah, it's like, all right, fool. Well, next time I see him. And then, dude, I see him pass by 3 more times and I'm like, yo, am I going to throw hands with this guy? No, I'm not going to throw hands with this guy.
Damn it.
Like, no. And then I'm like, fuck, well, now I have to sit here with these feelings. And it's like, okay, all right, fine. This shit's annoying. I'm fucking upset. I'm getting worked up talking about this. I want to go find the guy right now and at least like yell at him.
Well, you know where he's at, bro.
I do know where he's at. I'll see him probably later tonight, passing by my fucking house. Excuse me. So, and I'm like, fuck, dude. I was like, obviously this dude fucking needs it more than I do.
Yeah.
And you know what, dude? I was like, honestly, dude, I have more in common with like the homeless schizophrenic man than the dude working in a corporate office with a suit and tie downtown. I have way more in common with that guy. I'm like, so now I have to like sit with this shit. It's like, I'm annoyed and I'm feeling guilty that I'm annoyed because I feel like I shouldn't feel annoyed. And I'm feeling guilty that I shouldn't feel upset that I'm upset.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right.
You're basically fucked.
I'm like, so fucking, what do I do?
I think you need to say your piece. Maybe, confront the guy, but just be like, hey, man, I see that you're wearing my shoes. I don't appreciate it that you literally, like, came onto my property and took my shoes.
Stole my shit.
But, like, maybe end it in some type of, like, hey, man, if you need something, like, fucking, if you see me outside, ask me for it or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And so, like,
just so you can at least say your piece.
Yeah.
And express your frustration.
And that's, like, and that's the thing. And that's that's my end goal. That's what I resolved to after a couple days of being annoyed. And then, like, later on that same evening, I went up and I was walk through the neighborhood with my wife. We were playing Pokemon. We've been playing Pokemon Go again because
Brought that one back.
Yeah, dude, we brought that one back because due to quarantine.
Yeah.
Quarantine got me on a sick one with Pokemon Go, and I started playing fucking Warzone, dude. So
we're gonna have to squad up after this.
So we're gonna squad up and we'll live stream our matches. But anyways, so you know, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, like I just fucking want to go yell at him, dude. Be like, yo, fucking, you know, like it's like some old engraved hood shit in me that I'm gonna be like, yo, motherfucker, like be coming up in my house.
Yeah, you do that shit in the hood, bro.
Yeah. Nah,
you're done,
split your wig,
bro.
dude. We'll split your wig. So anyway, so now I'm like sitting here. Now that's the actual thing. If I see him again, I'd be like, yo, man, like enjoy your shoes.
Yeah, enjoy my shoes.
Enjoy my shoes. They're your shoes now. All right, I got that. You snagged them. My bad. Lesson learned. We keep our shoes inside the house.
Yeah.
But enjoy your shoes because they're your shoes now. I'm not asking for them back because who knows what the fuck is going on there. Yeah, I'm gonna get that hand, foot, and mouth. But it'd be like, yo, dude, if you need something, man. Because here's the thing: if he would have asked me, I would have been like, yeah, dude, of course. Here, have this, have that. I'll help you out. But then, like, someone just takes that from you, and like that whole decision, that whole power, all of that, they just take that shit from you.
That's not cool. And that's like something deeper. I feel like
it is,
you know, dude. When someone takes something from you, it's like, I don't know, it just reverts back to an like almost animalistic state of mind. It's like you're like taking my food, right?
And
I'm like,
and in my house, dude.
Yeah.
In the place that I live and sleep.
So it's like fucking with your like security and
everything. I was like, yo. But I guess, you know.
Gotta get strapped, bro.
Gotta get strapped. Stay strapped and get your shoes clapped, dude. It's one of those two. But so yeah, I don't know, dude. I was like super annoyed by that shit. But yeah, just taking that whole thing away from me. And that's actually like part of my old programming. Like reaction of just taking that from me, taking that power, that decision. Because what I want to do, I want to control everything in my surroundings. Everything needs to go my way, the way I see them, the way they need to. They need to be the way I want them to be. Because like if it's outside of that, I'm gonna start feeling really uncomfortable because I'm afraid of that, of the unknown, of change, of whatever, all these things. And so like.
Peaceful Benny. Buddha Benny, bro. Meditation Benny.
So yeah, man. So that's why like all these things came up because this motherfucker stole my shoes. And then yeah, so back to that whole confidence and ego and all that shit. Like that's a weird one. That's a weird one. Cause like, you know, like I don't want to appear showy or flashy and like even sitting in front of a camera can sometimes be uncomfortable, or being on a podcast and sharing myself, being vulnerable, appearing like I know what I'm doing and I got this together. Like vulnerability, I think, has a major piece to that.
Yeah, and it's so crazy how it's all like intertwined.
I know,
right?
dude.
Like
it's
the humility and the vulnerability and the confidence, like it's all fucking intertwined, and that's why it's so interesting to be on a path of like emotional intelligence and spirituality, you know, because we get to explore these ideas and how it affects us, you know.
Yeah,
it's all just fucking interconnected.
And I guess to give some context to this for myself, like I'm a 12-step guy, and that's where this stuff comes from. And it's just like it's an everyday thing, dude. It almost feels tiring to me sometimes.
Well, because your natural instinct is one thing, and then you got to fight your natural instinct.
Like, because like I said in an old podcast, it's like I'm playing a tug of war versus with my old programming versus my true self, and like I get tired of that fight. And like at the end of the day, dude, it's just like I just want to pass out.
Like I'm fucking over
just like fucking over it, dude.
Bro.
Like, and like I've said it a million times, and it's like I'm so jealous of my wife who can just wake up to be just a good person, and I have to put in all of this work just to be regular. You know, like I don't think people sometimes realize that about some of us, and at least speaking for myself in like a recovery state. Because the truth is, it's like I'm a recovering addict. That's who I am. And I was gonna kind of share this on my own, but I think like I'm fuck it, dude. I'll just kind of do some of this now because like fuck whatever.
Send it, bruh.
Just send up. So like I'm a recovering addict. And like people need to know that. And I hid that sense of myself, not so much hid it, but I kept it to myself for a while, especially with like friends and family or people who don't understand. Because when you say I'm a recovering addict, you're met with stigmas, right? You're met with negative stigmas. You're met with that schizophrenic homeless man who's yelling at somebody who's not there. The stigmas are met with tent cities on 16th Street or whatever city you're listening to is equivalent of Skid Row. Homeless people pass out on the street, a junkie shooting up crossing down the street, methadone clinics or needle exchanges. So when you say I'm a recovering addict, you're met with it's a lot of the times it's met with that out of the scope of the recovery world.
For sure.
And for those of us in the recovery world, like at least for me, like what that means to me is that like I've been given an opportunity. And it's an opportunity that like isn't given to a lot of people. It's like a lot of people just move. There's or not a lot of. I don't want to speak in general terms. But before all of this, I just moved in like the space of like a zombified space, where I didn't want to think about like, am I doing this the right way? Am I being an asshole? Am I being introspective? Am I trying to live the best version of myself? Am I trying to be a better version of myself? But for me as a person in recovery, when I say I'm a recovering addict, like I've been given it an opportunity. Every piece of myself that I was afraid of, every piece of myself that I didn't want to let go, every piece of myself that weighed myself down, like I get an opportunity to change that.
Yeah. I actually find a lot of pride in that, being a recovering addict, you know. It's really cool to, I mean, it's not cool to experience all that, but it's cool to have this like baseline or something to compare, you know, this like complete opposite side of the spectrum situation, where I can like really, I can see both sides, you know, and I can kind of have perspective on things that are happening when I'm able to like slow things down enough to look at different perspectives, you know?
Yeah, man. And, you know, when I first got sober, dude, it was such a humbling experience because it's like, oh, and I made that joke earlier, but like I really do have more in common with the homeless dude on Skid Row than I do some guy in a corporate office. And so like it, not only that, but it was such a humbling experience to like finally hit that bottom, hit that low, like, and then come back and sort of rebuild yourself. But like, that's a perspective that I see things through now. So yeah, we make jokes on here and I can be wrong. And I might have, you know, fucking gone off the rails a little bit last week. And like, was it good? Was it bad? I don't know.
I loved it.
It was great. Yeah. You know, but then telling people to shut the fuck up isn't necessarily the right thing to do.
Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah,
so
yeah.
like, so that's the perspective that I see things through. So when I bring up these topics and when it's like, they're a little bit more introspective or outside of like politics and these things, it's because I'm looking at them through the eyes of like me being a recovering addict. And like, yeah, it was weird. I hid it for a while. Some of my family members didn't know I went to treatment 3 years ago. My parents, obviously my wife and a few cousins here and there, but like the rest of the scope of my family didn't know I went to treatment 3 years ago. But now it's like, yo, like I get to do this fucking thing.
Yeah, and you get to be an example, man. Yeah. That's another cool part of it with being like open about it is people who might be struggling. Oh, damn. You know what I mean? Like this guy was once an addict and he's not anymore. And maybe like he can help me, or maybe just your example can show someone else that it's possible. You know, so that's why I enjoy being open about it. Because you never know who is listening or who can maybe use some assistance or, you know, an example. It's kind of a trip, man. You know, don't know. I had this thought that where I was going next with it, but I totally forgot what I was gonna say. So there's
Dude,
that.
it happens to me all the time.
So there's that.
It's after a few years, maybe I'll get my brain back, dude. It still shorts out every once in a while, and it's super frustrating. Because I'll be like, or I'll be at work.
You know what I was gonna say? I
Send
remember
it.
now.
Send it.
So it's always funny, like when I'm in a party setting, or like you know, a rave, or you know, a musical show, or something where like alcohol and drug use is like commonly accepted.
Encouraged.
Yeah. And I'm just like having a great time, and then like somehow it comes up that like whether I don't want to drink or I don't want the ecstasy or whatever is being offered to me, and that I say I'm sober, and then everyone like, what? Like, you're sober? And then like immediately, it's very interesting. Like, people start to, for some reason, try to justify like how they are using. Have you ever experienced that when they're like, oh well, I only
do it on weekends or like on a special. It's like
only at the like shows, like you do some ecstasy, but I'm not like that bad.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't care. Live your fucking life,
dude.
Like, do you. Like, me being sober should have no effect on what you're doing in your life.
Yo, if you can go out and do lines, and that's it, it's not an issue. God, do those lines, Playboy.
Bro, I'm all about it, bro.
You know, like
do your thing, smoke your weed, fucking drink your alcohol, like. Have a good time. Enjoy your fucking life. It's a short life. I don't care, but it's always interesting when people once they know you're sober, they start to try to justify like what they're doing, and I'm like, dude, I don't care, bro. Like,
just do your fucking thing.
We're at a rave, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking get lit.
Yeah, dude, I experienced that. I still experience that all the time, where it's like, yo, like there was one time I went to like a barber to go, not a hairstylist actually, somebody who I really I love all of his stuff. His account is Andrew Does Hair on Instagram and on YouTube, and he's fucking awesome. I love that. I love everything he does, and he cut my hair. But there's been a couple times when I've been in those, like I've been in a setting of like with friends or something like that, and or they'll like offer a beer and be like, oh no, dude, I'm good. You sure, dude? Yeah, and then you have to like. After the third or fourth time, you'd be like, no, dude, I don't drink. They're like, oh, like, well, do you want me to put it away? Do you want me to like, like, no, dude, it's fine. Like, yo, I'm not like, I'm like, yo, let me get a sip of that fucking beer, dude. Like, it's fine. Or with some of my other friends, if they keep pressuring, they're like, yo, nah, dude, you're like gonna be sober forever, dude. Dude, just have this beer and be fine. It's like, yo, if I take that beer right now, dude, I'll be elbows deep in heroin by the end of this sentence, dude. Like, no, I'm okay without that beer. But it is funny how like people justify that.
It's like just something right switches and like, oh shit. It's like, yo, you're fucking good, bro. I promise you.
Go live your life.
Yeah, live your fucking life.
Go send it. Go send it, dude. If you can do ecstasy on the weekends and that's it, go do ecstasy, dude. If you want to do mushrooms, go do mushrooms, just whatever. The thing is, though, I can't. I don't know. I lost that privilege 3 years ago when I went to rehab, and that's the end of the story. But tying it back to that is like, you know, what I learned is that I have this awesome opportunity, man, that like other people don't. And so, yeah, I'm a recovering addict. I was smoking weed into oblivion and eating painkillers all day long. Would lock myself in my room and set up little piles of pills and smoke weed, eat those, play video games, and call it a day until the next day. And I lived that way for a while. I didn't have like such a tremendously low bottom. I didn't end up homeless. I didn't end up all these things, but the feelings were there. This like the world is out to get me, this constant doom, this like nothing is going to be good enough. They're like, if I only had this or only had that or this fucking thing or this is gonna satiate me, I'm gonna, you know, fuck my way through these feelings, or I'm gonna fucking like talk shit on a bunch of people and find ways to shit on everything around me and why this shit's whack as fuck and that's lame and just be a fucking miser. And like, dude, I'm stoked. Was it easy kicking painkillers?
Super easy. Probably the
easiest thing I could do.
Yeah.
No. No, it landed me in the psych ward. And the detox was awful. We know that. But seeing the growth from all of this and like how I can like go to sleep tonight or sit with an uncomfortable feeling, be okay with not wanting more or wanting less or not in search of this thing for a fleeting moment that'll give me a little bit of relief. Like it's fucking up. I don't know.
It's
man.
rad. And not
You know?
waking up, for me, it's also, I mean, it's all those things.
Yes.
And it's also not waking up immediately in fear. You know what I mean? Like, just wait, like, my eyes open and I'm, like, in fear immediately. That's how I start my day.
Yes.
When I'm in active addiction,
Yeah.
you know?
And that's weird, man, because it's this, like, okay. All right, it's this weird, like, right away. It's like dude, it's so funny, man. Like you fucking described it perfectly. You wake up and you're like, okay, all right, all right, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? All right, well, we gotta get high. Let's take care of that because I woke up sick. So let's take care of that. Let's get well first.
Yeah, it's wild, man. Like, when it's just constant, like, playing of scenarios, you know what I mean? It's just constant, like, my mind is just going all the time. So the second that was removed, I was like, it was like life changing, you know? Like, all of a sudden I had all this like space,
dude,
in my mind. I was like, whoa, dude, I can think about other things
because it was pure chaos. And if there wasn't any chaos, I would create it for myself. But like now it's like, yo, let me sit on this park bench and not have to look at my phone. Let me just sit here
just
now.
Stare at the fucking birds.
So that's why, like, when I tell people all the time, it's like, yo, I have a pretty regular life now. Like, I'm a chubby married dude. You know, I have a car that I could drive. I'm okay. Like, I live in a cool house.
You
whatever. Like,
fucking $2,000.
oh, dude,
kayak,
I did.
dude.
I fucking dropped a couple racks on a kayak, but I have a regular life. It's not something so extremely extravagant, not something which is like something that I used to fantasize about of like, dude, I need all this money, then I can afford all this.
Well,
and
so this brings us back to the first point that we were making, confidence versus ego. So like, those things are the egotistical things.
Yes.
I need the flashiness, I need the money, I need the car, I need the houses, and thinking that our ego tells us that's going to make us happy. But I think we know at this point in time that doesn't actually make us happy. You know, so not being, at least being able to curb the ego. Like, so this is a common thing where people might say that you need to destroy your ego.
Mm-hmm. Do you all the way?
Well, that's the thing, is I think we need to learn how to live with the ego. I think it's something that doesn't go away. It never goes away.
Mm-mm.
It's always fucking there. But learn how to like live in like symbiosis with the ego and not let it run necessarily all of our decisions. It'll still, you know, occupy some of our decisions.
Yeah.
It's
and
always
that's
gonna
the
be
thing
there.
I'm trying to learn. This is a hard thing to learn.
Oh, it's the hardest, bro. I mean, we're talking about fucking human life.
To me,
bro.
we're talking about one of my greatest character defects.
We're talking about life, dog.
They're just part of being a human being.
Ugh. So it's pretty rad. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's also super rad.
It is rad.
And we wouldn't be here doing this if we were still doing the things we used to do.
No, absolutely not. You know, I get to wake up. I get to be a husband. I get to be present in my marriage. I can be friends with people. I can be there for people. I can be productive. I can work. I'm not nodding off behind the wheel on my way home from work. I'm out enjoying life, things, just being as regular as I can. I'm not creating chaos, and I'm not looking for chaos. I'm not.
You're still creating chaos, but it's okay.
But not to like the full extent of like, like what am I gonna do about this kind of chaos? You know, like I don't know, dude. So I'm like super grateful, dude. I'm 100% grateful because like I didn't want to wake up 3 years ago. and reaching that level of like hopelessness, of like pushing it every day a little bit further and further to hope like maybe tomorrow I will wake up. And I think I'll be okay with that. What, you know, because like I just can't deal with this anymore. So being in that sort of pit, this.
Not where you're at now.
No, what I want to say, some book somewhere calls it incomprehensible demoralization.
Oh, what? Yeah, I never.
Something like that. I don't know.
Is it blue, dude? I
don't know. It might be green or red.
Another book I'm reading, Man's Search for Meaning, by Viktor Frankl.
Dude, drop it on that.
Dude, this dude's fucking dropping bars, bro. So, I'm sure a lot of you have heard. I'm not the first one to read this book, but Viktor Frankl survived the concentration camps. He's like a doctor, psychologist kind of guy. And he talks about the stages of being a prisoner in concentration camp, like the mental states that you have to go through to like survive.
Oh, shit.
And then he talks about like some of the most important things, like at your base human existence, like that you need to. It's like basically finding meaning in like a meaningless place. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not all the way through, but it like he's just dropping bars and he's like quoting like Nietzsche and like Dostoevsky and like all these like philosophers and shit, and like it's just crazy to hear from someone who's experienced that, who still found like purpose. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like it kind of blows me back because it's like I can find purpose in anything. And it's like, what's your why?
Dude,
that's a big one. Like,
you know what's funny?
You need to have a why to
keep you driven,
to deal with like the hows of life. I think that's one of the quotes generally.
Yeah, it's funny, man. Like you see all this shit, and we know people, just miraculous turnarounds, even in ourselves. It's like, yo, there's no excuse, dude. It's like, fuck, I have no excuse. I have no excuse to like if I just don't feel like doing fucking something, and fuck.
Well, it's good, dude.
Yeah.
How many times did we use an excuse
every
to, like,
day.
not do something that we know we should
every
have
day?
done?
But like, yeah, so you're like finding
do that
your
all
why.
the time,
Oh,
too.
dude,
I'm like,
I'm a
fuck
fucking
it,
master
tomorrow,
of that shit. I'm a master. I can still fucking do it now. But yeah, man. So like, dude, I can't. Like, what? How do you muster up the strength, being treated less than a human in a concentration camp, to still find a way to want to make it out of that? It's crazy.
And he talks about the people who became hopeless, that they like died soon after. Like he was able to spot when someone was completely hopeless and they're like, yeah, there's no purpose for me to live anymore. And like whether they were killed or they just died from like their body giving up.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're at that state, just to fucking be out. But then if you have some purpose or some meaning or some why you think that you're able to live through that, you know, then it's like.
Did he answer what his was? Has he answered that?
I think one of the things he mentioned was like love at the bottom of everything, like love for his spouse, love for, you know, his family and stuff like that was something that kept him going, you know? So it's just a trip, man. I love, like, that's another thing. So with this slowing down thing that I've been doing and trying not to distract myself with the easy stuff, like the videos and the video games, which I still do. I'm not saying I don't do it, but doing less of that and like doing more of meditating or reading and stuff. It's pretty fucking cool, dude. I'm not like the first person to figure this shit out, but you know what I mean? Like I'm definitely not the first person to figure this shit out. But it's cool to like be able to feel what I'm feeling and explore those ideas, and then also like read books of people who are exploring those ideas as well. You know, whereas instead of just like, oh, I wonder like what beef is happening in like the fucking, you know, in the rap community or something.
What crazy
you know?
shit that Joe Biden said?
Yeah, like, dude. Which I do all the time. So, hey, since you mentioned Joe Biden.
Are we going to go there? Let's go there.
Just real quick.
Should we call Eric?
I think a bit. Yeah.
Should we call Eric?
Oh, so there's two things. I saw Joe Biden was on the Breakfast Club.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
Let
you
me
did
see if
see
I can
that.
call Eric right now. Let me see if I can call him. Keep talking.
So Charlemagne the God is on the Breakfast Club, and I didn't watch the whole interview, so don't get mad at me if I get something wrong here. But he was interviewing Joe Biden, and he was thankfully being very probing with his questions about like the black community and what Biden has done.
Well,
for the
yeah,
black
Charlemagne's
community.
he's about the culture.
So I saw that the end of the interview, Biden's like, "Oh, look at all the great things that I've done."
Yeah. What's up?
Hey, so
the end of the interview.
oh, you're watching.
Listening.
Yeah, turn down your volume. You're listening to the live stream. Hey,
Yo.
So you're not black if you're not voting for Joe Biden.
Yeah, that's what he said at the end, bro.
Yeah. I heard that. That's pretty wild.
How insane is that to say?
Yeah, he's completely out of touch. Completely out of touch.
Yo, what was your reaction? What was your dude? Walk me through when you heard that. And he said, "Then you ain't black." He said verbatim.
If you're not voting for me, then you're not.
He's like,
black.
"You ain't voting for me." Oh, he's
vote
like,
for me or else. Vote for me or else.
Yeah.
Vote for me or else, or too bad. It's a bold display of
bold to say the least.
What the Democratic Party thinks of the black vote.
Ooh.
Like, who else you got to vote for? If you don't vote for me, you're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Well, if you don't vote for me, you're not black.
Yeah, he said you're black. Your blackness doesn't count, dude.
But you know what else? Let's break that down to a deeper level.
Let's go.
The blackness is questioned. It has to be proven. Like, value in a black life or value in your ethnicity has to be proven or questioned by people. What other race has that? No other race has that. And guess what that is? Jesse, guess what word I'm going to use?
Oh,
it's fucking privilege. It's privilege. Like, your whole existence is questioned by old white dudes. It's crazy.
Dude, when I saw that and I heard it, and you posted it up on your story also, I was like, dude, I wished Eric was going to be in the studio with us today because I just wanted to hear what he thought about that. But go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, because like you're totally right. I've never really had. Well, I mean, I don't know. I've had my Mexicanness brought up, like questioned, but not in a constant every day of like, well, if you ain't like this, you ain't black. If you don't do this, you ain't black. If you don't, whatever. And then for like a Democratic, presidential nominee to just straight up say,
yeah, that's what we're thought of, and it's said on a public stage. And guess what? Black people are still going to vote for him. So that's when we got to start asking ourselves, what are we doing here? But I don't see. You know what, dude? I don't see where this improves, and that's where I've thought to myself, like, maybe just black independence has to be like, I am a black person standing alone and in my own, in my own thing, and that's ends up being detrimental to the entire black community. But it's got to be like that, because my blackness is questioned just more often, if not just as much, by white people. So there's no winning. There's no way to win that situation. It's if you got your shit together, if you speak well, if you raise your children and you're a family person, then you're not black. And if you don't vote for this dude, then you're not. It's just, come on, bro. Like, we can't win. You can't win, bro.
So what? Hey, I know you're working on what is blackness thing. You're not wrapped up on that yet, right?
No, we're not wrapped up on it. Honestly, I didn't understand the undertaking of how valuable that project is.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna need an effort. I thought it was gonna be a cool little quarantine project, but hearing the responses is like, it's really telling. And even the idea of having to ask ourselves, what is blackness? White people don't ask themselves, what is whiteness? So just inherently in the project in itself is a description of what this is, because it's so culturally ingrained to be like, black is beautiful. Like, why do black people have to fucking say that? White people don't say white is beautiful. And if you do say white is beautiful, it's because you're you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
you're racist.
Yeah, like it's all of it. Like, I'm getting to that point where it's like, just the whole thing is exhausting. The whole, and that's kind of the load that you have to bear. Just being born black, just being born, that's the load you have to bear. You know, it's unspoken. If your blackness, if you don't ever question, like there was a guy who I asked, who he said to himself, I've never been asked that question. And he's never thought, but his response was, I'm gonna be thinking about that question for the rest of my life. He's like, he said that's one of the most difficult questions I've ever been asked. You know, it's wild. It's a wild experience. I'm not making it dramatic, like I'm having some sort of experience that's not a regular person's experience, but there are layers to the black experience where political fucking major candidates, the person running for, you know, president of the free world, leader of the free world, is even questioning it blatantly on a huge platform like
This fucking
that was
guy.
Chatty Cathy, but
yeah,
you know,
no, dude, it's all good. That's why I called you. But thanks for weighing in, man. I'm sure
Yeah,
we'll
thank you,
talk
Eric.
about it. We're coming back. We're gonna do this again. We
The
can
memes are coming.
yeah, so we can dive into it a little bit deeper now.
all right,
But,
bro, I'm
but
watching you motherfuckers.
all right, I'm
Later,
watching you,
brother.
fool. Later, dog. Later, fool.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that the Democratic establishment and a big swath of Democratic voters are like, this is our guy. I mean, what do you mean?
But
This is our guy.
the
We're gonna ride with
interesting
this guy.
the interesting thing is that the pendulum just goes the other way. Because Trump can sit there and say the wildest fucking thing, and people be like, "Yeah, that's our guy."
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just the state of our politics.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing is Biden is like looking to, I guess, anoint a vice president.
Anoint.
whatever they do.
Appoint,
Anoint.
a vice
They don't,
presidential
like,
nominee.
Put a crown on their head
No,
or
they
nothing like
don't.
that, and they're
No.
God sent.
Although he's that fucking old,
Yeah.
so maybe.
So that's the next big thing is like, if they had any idea what they were doing, and they had any touch with reality, they would put someone as a vice president who like could possibly gain some progressive voters or some independent voters or someone else. But I think they're gonna put like a fucking Amy Klobuchar type, like crazy ass, like centrist like candidate, because they don't give a fuck. They don't even live in the real world. Dude, Nancy fucking Pelosi, bro.
Oh, she needs to go.
Dude,
Hey,
I just signed a petition. I never go on those
dude,
fucking
neither did I. And
change.org things.
Jesse fucking shared it with me, and I was like, yes, right away.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even want to put my email in here. Like, I'm gonna get a bunch of fucking emails.
Yeah, me too.
But I mean, I started this whole process with Bernie, like becoming a, Democratic candidate or whatever. As many things I disagree with how he went out of the race and what he could have done better, whatnot. He did bring a lot of people into politics.
Yes,
I can't say that I would have ever given a fuck about politics if it wasn't for Bernie Sanders.
That's true.
So, like, if he did everything else wrong, he did that right. You know what I mean? And so now I'm like, I keep seeing all this news about Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and, like, the bills and shit. So I look online, I'm like, what the fuck is the Speaker of the House?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what is this person doing? Why do I care what this person's doing?
Yeah.
Because supposedly she has, like, the type of power to, like, basically say, hey, this is the bill that we're going to vote on or not. So she has the ability to, like, basically, and with all the bullshit goes on behind doors, that when, let's say there's some progressive things on the newest bill, she can be like, oh, yeah, we're going to get rid of that stuff on the bill. Because they were trying to pass some stuff for student loan forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were trying to pass this thing called the HEROES Act, which would have helped out with student loans. And then the Democrats backed off of it. You know what I mean? And because of Nancy Pelosi and whoever the fuck else. And I'm like, dude, we got to get these people out of here, bro.
Yeah.
What the fuck are they
All
doing
of
in
them,
there?
the entire government.
Like, who
Just let
wants
it
these
fucking
people
go.
running our shit?
Nobody. Just take the whole government out, dude. Just later. No, let
Don't
everybody
tell
live
Eric,
by
but-
themselves, dude.
Revolution, bro.
Revolution's gonna come. We're ready for the fight.
But yeah,
Yo.
so that's the little political thing.
A
that we
little
got
bit of
going.
political thing. Well, yeah, dude. We fucking did it. Plug your Instagram, dude, because you got a new Instagram. So people need to know what it is again.
People need to know where I'm at. I'm gonna get better at like linking video and whatnot. So we can like link the live streams and stuff. But check me out on Instagram. It's your boy _is nice.
I fucking love that so much.
I'm pretty stoked on it. I like it so far.
Your boy is nice.
It's all
dude.
cute.
At your
Might
boy
delete
_
later.
is nice. Nah, dude, keep it. And like I said previously, I'm gonna start getting back up on my social media, dude. I hate that it's a thing. I hate that I have to be on it. I hate that I'm a thing. But it's gonna happen. This podcast for my life, just for everything in general. Fuck it, we're gonna send it, dude. And that's at Tortilla Scientist on Instagram, and follow Eric at Big Mood Coach. Eric _ Big Mood Coach, and our YouTube channel, Big Mood Space TV. Big Mood is one. So
let's go, dude. Let's start
fucking
sharing this shit,
send it.
liking this
We're
shit.
here. Oh, and by
subscribing
the
to
way,
the
we're at
shit.
Room and Board Recordings here in Logan Heights, dude, and they've been awesome. Couldn't be more fucking grateful for them for setting all of this up for us, doing our video for us, for doing all of this stuff, man. They've really been the best for our podcast. And
Shout out Room and Board.
Step it up. Hey, Jai. So that's it, man. We out.
We out, bruh.
Yeah, dude.
Let's go, dude.
Let's go. But yeah, dude. So fucking.
So are we squatting later, bro?
Dude, I
Or
think we
what?
got a squad later, dude. Straight up.
Dude, I gotta show you how it's done, bro. How many rounds have you played?
I did a few like by myself, just cause like, oh shit.
Warzone?
Yeah, a few like Warzone, but I was doing Blood Money because I was by myself and I just come back and shit.